Hi, it's Gary Graff for the Detroit Music Awards. We are excited to get phase two of the 32nd annual Detroit Music Awards underway and to having all of you vote in it. Every year we send out very clear and explicit written instructions about the voting process, which you should have gotten already. But we thought this year we would add a video tutorial or demo in order to help you with the process. It's very important to us that everybody gets to vote, that everybody's vote is counted. And even though the election runner voting process is very simple and straightforward, we wanted to take this extra step to make sure that your votes counted. So I'm happy to turn it over to Stacy Sherman here, who will take you through the process. And I'll be on at the end with some other news.
Thank you, Gary Graff. As Gary said, we do send out instructions from Election Runner. You'll get an email directly from them once the election has launched, which should look something like this, depending on your email server. The email comes to you, and it's just loading up. So you'll get an email as a registered voter that will look like this. It has instructions. It includes your user ID and your voter key, which is your password. And what you do once you click here to vote, it will take you to a new screen, which is directly to the ballot. And where we always start is Americana. And this is a test ballot. What we've done is used last year's phase two ballot. So when you start voting this year, it will look exactly the same, only the names have been changed. But we wanted to run through this for you. So once you click to vote, you'll see the instructions, and the most important thing that people seem to have the most difficulty with is do not log out. If you log out at any time, your votes will be counted up to that point and you will not be able to log in again. So we do ask that you allow plenty of time for the process when you sit down to vote. Don't be on your phone if possible, because if someone calls you, it will kick you out of the program. We ask that you have a strong internet connection, because if your internet goes out, we cannot log you back in. There's nothing we can do if you get logged out, you're done voting. So once you're situated and ready to vote and have read the instructions, you will see the ballot, and you may select up to 3 options from the list below. You don't have to choose 3, but you may only choose up to 3. So you can go through and we'll just randomly pick up to 3. And now we go to Americana recording. And again, you don't have to choose 3. So if you only choose 1, you scroll down to the bottom and you will submit your ballot. And that's how you move forward. We do once again give you a warning that you're going to move forward. You will not be able to log back in. So yes. And what you see there is it takes you to the overall election phase 2 home screen that has all of the genres listed. And it says you're eligible to vote in 12 more elections. So this is basically home base for the rest of the election. And you do have to participate in each one, even if you don't make selections in each one. So where we are here, we're moving on to the next, which is blues. And if you wanted to vote, you'd go through, make your selections just like you did in Americana. But for expediency, we're going to just submit the ballot. We made no selections, but now it's taken us back to the home screen where it says you are eligible for 11 more elections. So the fact that we didn't make any choices in blues has registered, where you're shown that we participated, but there were no votes counted. One thing that you have to make sure also when you're in the election is not to use the back button on your computer. You just need to navigate the elections here, because if you use the back button, it will take you completely out of the election runner system. So that's another thing you want to make sure that you do. So basically, you'll just work your way through all of the elections, either making selections or not, scrolling through, and submit the ballot at the end. And it will say, once you've cleared through all of these, we're not going to go through all of them because it's the ballots and some of them are very long, but it will get to the end and it will just say, thank you for voting in this election. And it'll say, you're not eligible for any more elections. This screen will be clear. So that's how we know that you've finished and your votes have been counted by election runner, and we'll move forward from there. They tabulate all the votes. We do not see who you voted for, so don't worry about any of that. It is all very third party. They do a really good job with that. So it's very simple once you get into it. The main things to remember: don't log out, and to move forward, you hit submit. And that's pretty much the gist of it. So if there's any questions, please feel free to email us at submissions@detroitmusicawards.net. But other than that, happy voting. Gary, any other question? Anything else that I missed?
Yeah, thank you, Stacy. I will reiterate what Stacy repeated many times because it is the most important thing, and that is do not log out. The nature of the software is you have one shot at it. It's a very easy and straightforward process, but do not log out and make sure you give yourself plenty of time to go through the ballot. We will be conducting phase 2, and before you know it, we'll be on to phase 3, which are the final nominations for the Detroit Music Awards, and we'll be announcing more information about the show very soon, including where you can see it, what the date is, and who will be participating in the show. One other thing we'd like to mention before we leave is the Detroit Music Awards are one of the very few and perhaps the only awards organization that does not charge people to vote. We do not require a membership. We do not charge you to cast votes. However, we do have a membership, and your memberships are what help the organization continue to have the Detroit Music Awards. It pays for the voting. It pays for the show. It pays for our other events. It even pays for your trophies. So please consider and please do become members of the Detroit Music Awards Foundation. There's registration information on the website, detroitmusicawards.net. If you've been a member in the past, if you were a member during 2022, please renew for this year. The money really does help. The memberships really help us create a strong and very fair awards process. So we're looking forward to seeing your votes, and we'll see you when it's time for phase 3.